There's a new state forester on tap to take Joe Fox's place as he retires. We're going to talk about work being done on the Arkansas River Channel and so much more on today's episode of the Arkansas AgCast, which starts now.
You're listening to the Arkansas AgCast, where we discuss the latest news, trends, and issues impacting Arkansas farmers and ranchers. Our show is brought to you by the Arkansas Farm Bureau Federation and hosted by Jason Brown and John Nickman.
It's Thursday.
We're here.
Means it is time to get the show back on the rails after
sorry we weren't here last week.
After an absence last week.
Yeah.
It felt weird not doing the show.
It did, because I wasn't even here in the state.
Yeah.
Kind of felt like I didn't know what to do with my hands.
Yeah.
Off Talladega Nights. But
it was weird Thursday. Like, I kept watching the clock, like, hey, it's time to go down, knock this out. But I think Brian and Matthew took the opportunity to make some improvements.
Yeah.
You took the week off. Well, not really. You were just gone working. But and these guys, like,
studio is
moved
upgraded.
a TV studio in
We've
here.
been busy. So,
Yeah. It's really fun. It's been cool to see and test this stuff out this week and get ready, and hopefully, Brian, it makes your job a little easier, or at least saves you some
or
time.
harder, depending on how you look at it. So,
Yeah, you work harder while we're recording the show in lieu of hopefully working as hard after.
Well, the four of us were in here yesterday. I think we all four were geeking out on
We were.
on the new stuff. You know, it was almost like getting a new Nintendo, back in the day.
Not only that, but like you and I realized how quickly we've turned into like divas. We're in here like, hey, hold up, the headphones aren't right.
This isn't working.
Did you trade my microphone out because this isn't good? Like all of a sudden we have preferences.
Yeah.
we didn't know. We didn't know we had
Jason
preferences.
handed me his headphones and was like, "Here, see what you hear in here." And I gave him back. I don't like your headphones. Give me mine back. I didn't say anything till I got mine back first, though.
Yeah.
just patience while I work out the gremlins. Okay?
Yeah.
I know.
I mean, it's all gonna work. I promise.
Look, I think it's incredible. I mean, you said Johnny Mac was asking you a question about how, some of the boxes and tools that obviously the viewer can't see at this moment, but like you said, it's a mini convention. Like that's basically
is.
what you
Behind the
set
scenes.
up
It
over
is.
there.
It's I need another set of hands back here. But,
Yeah.
it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I like
Pretty
it. I like it. And thank you for investing in this little show we do every week.
And hopefully our viewers and listeners notice a difference too.
Yeah, I hope so. We did document it. Maybe we can drop it in the comments or something, or throw it up on the video. I don't know. But Taylor, intern for commodity department, your department, and doing some O&P work too, is here today. So welcome to the show. Thanks for sitting in. It is a bit lackluster to just sit and watch us. So I'll give you that warning ahead of time.
Yeah, I hope you didn't think this was a very professional situation.
But hopefully you see or learn something, and hopefully it just, I don't know, gives you a better experience.
Inspiration to start your own podcast.
That's it.
Yeah.
I started listening to a podcast yesterday that came recommended to me called Smartless. Jason Bateman, one of my favorite actors of all time.
Yeah, he's a good one.
And it's just, once you've done this for a while, a little while like we have, to go back and listen to somebody else, especially at that level, is pretty interesting to hear. Because you can kind of almost process their thoughts.
My wife likes to make fun of me because I'll rewatch it. Like, you watching your own podcast? Like, yeah, I need to improve. If I'm going to do this,
That's it.
and I want to take it seriously, like I do the rest of my job. Then yeah, I'm gonna watch it.
I watch every week. I go back
sure
and
I
watch
don't,
every
Pick
one.
my nose or something on camera,
Yeah. We, despite our watching, we maintain mediocrity most of the time, and
consistent mediocrity.
But we were eating dinner the other night, and Marilyn, my daughter, said, "Dad, still doing the podcast?" Because she hadn't heard us. It was because we didn't.
Oh,
do it
yeah,
last
yeah,
week or whatever. Like, oh yeah, we're still hanging in there. So anyway,
I occasionally have someone say, "Hey, I watched the podcast." Like, oh, what did we say last week?
Yeah, exactly.
Here it comes.
exactly. What am I going to get in trouble for? Speaking of taking off and taking a break, I'll apologize because I'm going to cause us to be off next week from the regular show, taking a family vacation for the summer.
Cool.
But we are going to do some pre-work.
Yep.
And you guys remember we've started the new series called the AgCast Deep Dive, and we've promised a few times on the show that we will bring in this Farm Bill series that your team is working on, of Ag Insiders, and we're going to record one of those and release it next Thursday in place of the show.
Good.
So there'll still be a podcast. There'll still be good information. It just won't be you and me sitting here.
Yeah. We're going to have Brandy Carroll come in, talk about the Ag Insider she wrote on the Farm Bill. So that's definitely one you'll want to check out. And we'll have some information there that you probably wouldn't get right here with just Jason.
Yeah, exactly. And on this one, you guys are going to kind of run through some of the titles of the Farm Bill and just kind of give a brief overview and then hit some of those topics one by one. Is that right?
Well, we're going to go over kind of the history and kind of foundational information on what the Farm Bill is, where it come from, why does it exist, why is it important kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then kind of also talk about what Farm Bureau is doing with it or for the Farm Bill and what our policy kind of states, and just basically why is it important to producers and why should we be paying attention to it.
Yeah.
And then I think our plan going forward, we were going to go through title by title, right, in those articles, but we kind of redirected it to what's important to producers or our membership in this current Farm Bill.
Yeah.
So let's write about those particular issues that are important to those people.
That's great.
So we'll be going forward with that. So look for it.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you for taking the time to do that as our show for next week. And speaking of Farm Bill, I know risk management is such a big part of that, and USDA is hosting a prevented planning listening session on August 3rd here in the state. So RMA has been gathering feedback on possible changes to prevented planting coverages. This is something that Senator Bozeman has requested, that they sort of go out and have conversations with farmers and talk about. Like I said, August 3rd, we'll be having a listening session here in the state. This has started sort of towards the end of spring, beginning of summer. They've had these listening sessions USDA has across the country. But there are in-person and virtual options. Like I said, some of those have been in person. There's always a virtual option to attend. That August 3rd listening session that's going to take place here in Arkansas is an important one. That will be in person, and it's going to be at the Rice Research Extension Station in Stuttgart from 1 to 3 p.m. So let me just recap that because I stumbled through that a little bit. August the 3rd, 1 to 3 p.m., the Rice Research Extension Station in Stuttgart, that RMA feedback opportunity listening session for prevented planting coverages.
That'll be good.
Yeah. So there's more info, including all the listening sessions that are scheduled, all the details that these guys are gathering input on. All that's available at rma.usda.gov. So go take a look at that if you're interested. But please, whatever you do, make sure you're making time to take part in that. It's a really focused area of RMA's work. And anyhow, so there we go. Let me see. Speaking of coverage and insurance and damage and things like that, there's been a lot of storm damage across the state over the past week or so. We provided some coverage in Northeast Arkansas. I know Chad went up and produced some content on some damage in, I believe, maybe Greene County or right there around Marmaduke maybe. And today we are out again looking at the specialty crop.
Tomato country.
Impact.
Ashley, Bradley, Union, and Drew counties. Northeast Arkansas, I guess where he was earlier in the week or last week was hell. Down there in southern Arkansas, it's straight line winds. A lot of tomato plants, bell peppers, you name it, that they're growing have all fallen over. And if they can't pick them up, then they sit there and rot in the field.
Goodness gracious.
And a lot of it, I've heard that the winds were so strong that it blew leaves off plants or in half, right through the leaves. It blew tomatoes right off the plants.
Goodness.
There's another producer that told me that he had a power line down in his field, and they wouldn't let him get into the field because they were afraid of electrocution. So that entire field was gone. So it's going to be bad.
Yeah,
I think so. And weather's always a variable in agriculture. It seems like every year about this time. So
yeah, it's been really interesting. There was an awful, it was a tornado, devastating tornado that went through Texas just last night. I read this morning. Weather's really been active. I know that there's some tornadoes down in the southeast, Alabama, and so on. Last week maybe, and this is the first storms like that they had in June since like the early 1900s. You know? So anyway, the weather has certainly been a story this year. We knew it would be.
Yeah.
We've talked about it a few times, and certainly hope that farmers start to get a break.
Yeah, I mean, we would pay attention to it year after year. It's getting so consistent that when we go put a plan together to write our ag insiders, we're like, well, what about this or that? Well, we're probably going to have a weather event.
Yeah,
one or two. So we'll definitely put something.
Save some space for that. Yeah, and that's a good point. To that end, we're not going to do a full on planting or crop progress report this week, just because look, we know planting is done. Aside from what might need to be replanted if that's even possible from some of the storm damage, and crop quality looks to be, at least earlier this week, about 70% or better in that good to excellent column across the board. I know this is for sure not the case everywhere in the country, though. I was watching Twitter this morning and seeing some reporting, and there's a lot of portions of the country that are experiencing drought-like conditions right now. I know we were getting close before that rain started to come through 2 weeks ago. So you're starting to see a lot of concern in other areas of the country, especially in the Midwest, upper Midwest, about crop condition. Yeah. And I saw some data where you're seeing like a 10% reduction in crop quality just in a week's time, So we'll continue to keep an eye on this, but right now crop quality looks to be 70% or better in that good to excellent category here in Arkansas. Only 11% of soil moisture rating in the state is inadequate right now. We'll have to wait and see what last week's severe weather turns out to show in the upcoming reports. Like I mentioned, crop quality, we're bound to see it. I know Monroe County, Woodruff County, areas like that got hail just like they did up in Clay and Randolph and beyond. So anyway, we'll continue to watch that because weather remains to have its way with.
Yeah, those videos of hail on Lake Hamilton. Did you see that?
Oh my gosh,
man! That looked deadly if you were out in that.
Yeah, I think I saw one of the meteorologists say, like, if you took a couple of those to the head, I mean,
see ya.
Yeah, exactly. So ripping through boat covers and all kinds of stuff. Anyhow, just trying to make our way through. Skipping a week gives us a lot to talk about.
It does. We don't have a lot of time here today.
So I'm trying to move through this stuff quickly. Let me see here. Oh, congratulations to Jared Yates.
Mr. Yates.
On our team here at Farm Bureau. If you didn't, thank you, Brian, using the new equipment wisely there. Jared was announced this week as the new executive vice president of Arkansas Farm Bureau Federation. I know Talk Business covered that news. There's certainly a press release available on the website, and we're excited to have Jared in that leadership role here, and wish him all the luck.
Congratulations. Good luck.
Yeah, I think I'll wrap up with a little bit of additional weather, and I'm sorry again, we just couldn't fit everything in today. But Arkansas Business had a story just this morning about the 4th of July, and I bring this up because we're not going to be here.
Nope.
Until we won't be back until after the 4th.
Yep.
And so I wanted to just give this a mention here. Arkansas Business says that those the beef prices may hit you in the backyard here at the 4th of July. This is something we've been talking about.
Yeah, didn't we have somebody just speak about this?
I feel like we did.
Is some news getting traction from
I'm telling
this
you,
room?
man, I think that we do more.
Are we doing something now?
More than we give ourselves credit for. We're bringing attention to some of this stuff. And frankly, I mean, this goes back to some of the cattle inventory issues that we saw last summer that was reported on this show, because of drought and continues to be a story. Like you said, we had Jake on talking about cold storage.
Yeah.
There's an Ag Insider on that if you're interested. But just know beef demand stays high. Inventory is low.
Correct.
And as we know, it all comes back to supply and demand. And so you may pay a little bit extra for those steaks or
basic economics,
brisket or burgers when it comes to the 4th of July.
Speaking of beef, you heard in the news, Walmart is opening a $257 million beef packing facility in Olathe, Kansas.
Goodness gracious.
And I think they announced it Tuesday. It will open its first ever owned and operated case-ready beef facility, and it'll be open in 2025.
Okay.
And I think somewhere around 600 jobs it's going to create.
Wow.
Yep.
So this is just coming back probably to address some of those processing supply chain restraints or constraints.
They probably saw an opportunity
during COVID and
went with it.
And something we talk about a lot in context of meat inspection. But
I had seen something on that too. They have a dairy set up like that already? That they set up
maybe
a couple of years ago or something.
Probably.
I'm pretty sure they did.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. It's interesting to see companies like that, who have such a large customer base, get in on the supply side.
Yeah, I mean they're getting into.
You're getting way up the chain then.
Yeah,
So interesting. All right. Well, I know we've got, like I said, a few stories to get through today. So why don't we go ahead and make our way into those?
More news.
Have some fun with Brian.
All right, I'll kick us off.
Yeah.
There's been a new state forester announced.
Okay.
For the Arkansas Department of Agriculture.
Nice.
It was announced Monday that that Governor Sanders has appointed Kyle Cunningham as the new state forester of Arkansas. As state forester, Cunningham will serve as a director of the Arkansas Department of Agriculture's Forestry Division. Cunningham is succeeding Joe Fox, who is retiring at the end of June.
Good Farm Bureau gentleman there.
Yeah, Joe Fox has been in almost all of our division meetings for forestry. He's
really
a great asset. Governor Sanders was quoted saying, "Kyle's decades of experience in the forestry industry make him the ideal steward of our state's forest health and conservation. I know he's the right candidate to take over the position and shepherd the forestry division's important role in Arkansas's economy and natural heritage." Just a little bit about Cunningham and his background. He spent 19 years at the University of Arkansas System Division of Agriculture, or UADA, and has worked in several capacities there, but most recently as associate professor for forestry. His resume of work consists of forestry industry research, outreach, developing grant programs, and an education program for hardwood management in the state of Arkansas. He also holds a bachelor's degree in forestry and a master's degree in forest management from Mississippi State University, as well as a doctorate degree in applied science from the University of Arkansas at Little Rock. Cunningham was quoted saying, "I'm honored to be appointed to serve as a state forester and have the opportunity to lead the forestry division within the Arkansas Department of Agriculture. I have always appreciated and respected the role and services that the department provides to the public. I look forward to working alongside forestry division staff, commissioners, and partners to protect the health and safety of Arkansas's forest and promote Arkansas's forestry industry." With that, personally, I would just like to congratulate Kyle because he was at Extension when I was there.
Oh, really?
We didn't really work closely together, but congratulations.
Yeah.
And then also, again, to Joe Fox, congratulations on your retirement. We always enjoyed working with you, Joe.
Yeah, absolutely.
So good luck in your future endeavors in retirement.
Take a break.
Yeah.
Put
Enjoy
that
it.
chainsaw down.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's a good one. Glad we were able to report that, and excited to see what the forestry industry here in the state does with under Mr. Cunningham or Dr. Cunningham.
Yeah. Well, he makes a huge impact on our industry,
leadership,
our economy here in the state.
Yeah, for sure. All right. The Little Rock and Tulsa districts of the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers are seeking input for a project to deepen a 445-mile section of the Arkansas River, increasing the amount of cargo that can be shipped along that waterway. Reporting from the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette provides lots of details. We'll cover some of that here today. The project, which is targeted at deepening the McClellan-Kerr Arkansas River Navigation System's channel by 25% of its current minimum depth, has been in the work for at least 20 years, but has new life. According to the reporting, construction is now scheduled to begin in 2025, taking a decade to complete. Funding for this project will be provided in part by the bipartisan infrastructure law, which I'm sure is what brings it that new life we were talking about. The benefits of the project would be to lower transportation costs for producers and consumers throughout the region and nation, according to a Corps representative. This brings us to the reason this news is being reported here on this show
today.
The Corps has been making its way through an old environmental impact statement to understand a bit of history about the project's beginnings. But since the river has changed so much since talks of this project began 2 decades ago, the team must update that assessment under NEPA, which is the National Environmental Policy Act, before work can begin. On June 5th, the Corps began collecting comments from the public and will leave the comment period open until July 8th, so the clock is ticking there.
Okay.
According to the Corps, the increased depth of the channel will allow barges to carry more cargo, reducing the number of trucks and trains required to haul goods across the region. Currently, about $5 billion in goods are moved along the waterway every year, or roughly 10 million tons of cargo, according to the Corps. Get this, they estimate that to be the equivalent of 437,000 plus semi-trucks or 110,000 rail cars.
Wow.
So,
that's quite a bit.
Yeah, it's a lot. So if you're interested in providing input during the public comment period, and we know there's so much farmland that butts up against the river, and obviously so many farmers who haul their grain and their goods to market via the river as it connects, a portion of the state to the Mississippi River.
Yep.
So if you're interested in providing input during the public comment period, and we, like I said, we certainly encourage farmers to do so, visit swl.usace.army.mil/missions, or just do what I did and type Arkansas River public comment in Google, and the site popped up.
What a great tool.
So, just go to the Corps of Engineers website. And you can
imagine 437,287 more semi-trucks on I-40.
Semis. Oh, my gosh. I mean, and that's exactly the thoroughfare, right? From Tulsa over to the east side of the state to the Delta. I mean, I can't. Goodness gracious.
No.
We need this project because, and we know last year what happened when the Mississippi River got low, and the impacts that brought not only to farmers' times and grain quality, but the prices they were being paid. I mean,
it was terrible.
Those
numbers there. We reported on the same thing for soybeans in that Ag Advisor. So if you want to go back and look at the number of semi trucks and rail cars that barges keep from having to move all that product, is really staggering.
Yeah, and this is just the Arkansas River. Yeah. This is the numbers we gave today don't include Mississippi. Yeah, so you can sort of do some quick addition there. All right, well, let's take a short break from the news to hear a reminder about keeping rural roads safe during planting season and beyond.
Arkansas farmers and ranchers work 7 days a week. That means when you hit the road, you may be sharing it with farm equipment, especially if you're traveling along rural roads and county highways. Farm equipment moves slower than our pickup trucks and minivans. They may not have the safety lights and turn signals of our family vehicles either. The trucks and tractors moving down the road need extra room to make turns, cross bridges, and move through intersections too. We all get in a hurry sometimes, but it's important that we all stay safe, no matter if we're headed to buy groceries or grow them. So next time you're cruising past a pasture or field, keep an eye out for farmers. They'll be sure to keep an eye out for you too. If we all work together, we can make sure Arkansas is cultivating safe roads.
It's so important that we work together to keep each other safe on the roads. You may find yourself on the road with a farmer moving hay. this time of year. And right now we're seeing those row crop implements too. Let's just be sure to help one another cultivate safe roads. Now let's get back to the news.
All right, let's do it.
Oh, it's my turn again.
It is. It is.
All right, some news out of Washington, D.C. I feel like every podcast I find something nationally that I got to report.
You're going to move there.
Yeah. Good food.
They do have great
A lot
food.
of good museums. I can be a little bit of a nerd. But like I said, more news out of Washington, D.C. This time, the House Ag Committee has announced a new labor task force. And I can probably give you one guess. It's about H2A and labor.
This is kind of breaking. This is just late yesterday.
It was.
Yeah.
It was. This is something that we've been paying close attention to at Farm Bureau. And it's been a topic that we deal with annually. So,
absolutely.
Like I said, just this week, or like Jason said, the House Agriculture Committee Chair Glenn G.T. Thompson and Ranking Member David Scott announced the formation of a new bipartisan working group focused on addressing the ever-growing labor issue in agriculture. The newly formed Agricultural Labor Working Group will be co-chaired by our very own Rick Crawford, representative here of Arkansas, and Don Davis of North Carolina. The working group will gather feedback from various stakeholders on labor issues, particularly the H-2A visa program for non-immigrant agricultural workers. At some point, the working group will issue an interim report discussing the visa program's problems and their impacts on American agriculture. They also plan to issue a final report with recommendations on addressing the H-2A program's flaws.
Okay.
Representative Crawford was quoted saying, a robust agriculture industry starts with a strong and healthy workforce. However, due to a labor shortage, American farmers are increasingly turning to overseas workers to fill positions on the farm. Unfortunately, this is not an easy process because our visa policies and regulations have become convoluted and burdensome. Reforms are desperately needed to address this pressing issue. And I'll just go to note again and remind everybody this is a bipartisan group, 7 Republicans and 7 Democrats.
Truly bipartisan.
And then the H-2A program has been, like I said, an ever-growing problem for farmers here in Arkansas. This pattern will continue with the new rules that are going into effect July 1st. I reported on that just a few weeks ago.
Yes, you did.
This has been, again, a very big issue for us and our membership here at Farm Bureau, and something that we've been working on tremendously, not only in our specialty crop division, which it comes up every meeting, but also row crop that it's impacting quite a bit.
Yeah.
It's great to see the formation of this task group. And I commend House Ag Committee Chair G.T. Thompson and Ranking Member David Scott for taking the initiative to do this. It is also great to see, of course, Representative Rick Crawford representing the needs of Arkansas's farmers, as well as being the co-chair of this task force. So we're trying to press forward with a lot of these issues, and it's been something we've been talking about a lot this week. And then this came out. I mean, we're headed in the right direction. I'm really interested to see what comes of this, and hopefully some good change in the right direction.
Well, I know, Arkansas Farm Bureau has done some work on this front, strictly on the housing inspections.
The Ag Department.
We did a video last year talking to the Ag Department about that MOU that they had developed through the Department of Workforce Services, which carries over into this year, helping us get those housing inspections done a little bit quicker, which are a requirement of H-2A. So we've done a lot of work on the policy side for this, and I know, like you said, your team's eager to see what comes of this. Obviously, Representative Crawford is squarely in that row crop area of the state. He also, has quite a bit of spends quite a bit of time on the defense side, so I'm sure that also brings an interest here. And anyway, just grateful for his leadership on the Hill. As they start to work through this problem and having good, strong Arkansas.
We're going to start. I think AFBF has taken some initiative here too.
That's right.
And we plan on doing some of our own things going forward.
Yeah.
Especially, here sometime around harvest, September, October, people are going to be filing for next year's workers.
Right.
So
right.
We're going to be trying to push as much information as we can and help and advise and work however we need to.
Yeah. Well, I know we'll have a strong voice in that process through our own advocacy and through Representative Crawford as well. All right. Some exciting news in Jackson County last week. The Arkansas Corn and Grain Sorghum Producers opened its new building facility in Newport. George Jared with Talk Business has the scoop. We'll share his reporting here. But Tom Barber, Jackson County Extension Center Director, said he's thankful for the $250,000 donation from the Corn and Grain Sorghum Board that funded the construction of the facility. Those funds were met with others from the Jackson County Quorum Court. Tommy Young, chairman of the Corn Board and active Farm Bureau member, said the board saw a need for the building and noted the facility would play an important role for producers in the area. According to USDA, Arkansas ranks 17th in the nation for corn and grain production, with corn generating more than $500 million in cash receipts annually in the state. The Jackson County Extension Center site has about 350 acres of tillable land that extension researchers and agents use for variety trials and demonstrations in soybean, corn, peanuts, and wheat, really all the row crops in Arkansas except cotton. Research is being done in the areas of fertility, weed science, breeding, entomology, and agronomy there. In addition to the farmland, the facility has meeting areas and an outdoor skills area for youth development, agent training, and adult education. And future plans include an archery range and nature trail. The story even mentioned that they've put up several fire pits around the area to enjoy as well.
Visit Newport.
Yeah, exactly. This sounds like really a great addition to the community there in Jackson County. And like you said, we'll have to maybe stop by and check it out the next time we're up that way.
Yep.
So congrats to those folks in getting that done and getting it across the finish line. And that officially, if you still have any capacity to take in information, that officially wraps us up for today.
That was it?
Yeah, I know, right? And we still skipped some stuff.
We did.
So, all right. Well, in this new setup,
dun, dun, dun.
Does it bring relief for us?
Relief?
Yeah, like, you always get real stressed here. My palms get sweaty.
It'd be nice if we had a screen here with hints.
Yeah, I know. I know. Phone a friend.
Oh, you're talking about that part. Okay. What you're saying is it's time for
Stump the Host.
Yeah, I knew he was doing something.
Oh, dude. He's been just playing with that.
Yeah.
This whole setup.
He's sitting at home thinking about it.
Stump the host. Yeah, that was pretty funny.
I was listening to the YouTube channel on XM, and they have a clip of one of the concerts, and Bono, they're wrapping up, and he's going around introducing the band members and stuff, and he gets to the edge. He said, and of course, on guitars and a bunch of equipment, even he doesn't understand the edge. I feel like that a lot of times. There's a lot of moving parts, and a lot of it I'm glad it works a lot of times.
Yeah.
I don't understand how it all works sometimes. So,
well, look, I know
scary,
I know you're a U2 fan, and this is beside the point that you're making, but have you ever watched I'm sure you've seen the documentary, It Might Get Loud? This is Jack White, The Edge, Jimmy Page, right?
That's really
and they're
good.
just sort of nerding out the whole time. But there's a section in that, and I haven't seen that thing in years, but there's a section of it that is just really staggering to me, and it is The Edge plays a U2 song. I don't know, Beautiful Day, let's say. But and then he just goes through and one by one starts turning off his equipment, and he comes back to just a Fender Strat and an amplifier with a clean effect on it. And it's like mind-blowing how simple the chord structures and the songs are. And I know I'm getting nerdy as a musician, but how complicated the technology is.
No, it's very fascinating. I still have yet to watch the whole thing.
Yeah.
Believe
Well,
it or
watch
not.
that scene because it truly is cool. And I know we know you had a band, like you're a musician. You'll appreciate it on that level too.
I feel like
Yeah.
the outlier in this group. I have no music capacity here.
What?
I like listening to music, and I like music, but I've never been able to play it. I had a harmonica one time,
Yeah?
and then 3 weeks after I bought it,
Your dad
my
chunked
car
his-
got broken into, and they stole it. And I just was like, "That's a sign."
No,
I
that
just
was your
need to-
parents.
I was adult by that point.
Okay.
Yeah,
Dude, somebody might be out creating
somebody
the
here
most
in Little Rock's
beautiful blues music.
got a really
I
nice
think.
harmonica. Out of it, so I hope
you
they're
go.
using it.
I have so many friends who just have always told me, God, I'd give anything to play music.
Yeah.
You know? And so I guess I'm grateful for having, being raised with that ability. But
Yeah.
anyway. All right, enough
That's
about
killer.
that.
Well, all right, here we go.
All right.
How many years old is the oldest piece of chewing gum?
So is
it
it
still
currently being chewed?
Yeah.
I
He
didn't say
doesn't
that.
know. He doesn't look into
I didn't
this
say
stuff.
that.
Oh, like maybe okay.
I mean, there's that saying that if you swallow it, it's 7 years before
Yeah,
you digest or
yeah.
something.
I'll say 150 years old.
I can see a piece of gum, like, you know how you see McDonald's fast food in like the case. That
Oh,
just-
yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I've seen
I would
that,
say a
yeah.
piece of gum would probably even go longer. 150 is quite a long time. When did they invent chewing gum?
Oh, that's a good
I'm
question.
having too much of a
I
discussion.
think
about
that's
chewing
really
gum.
where this is going.
Yeah.
So,
Think about it as an invention.
I'll say
rather than a-
149.
$1.
$1 pop.
would you believe 9,000 years?
Oh my gosh.
No.
That's what
No.
they say.
No.
Uh,
No.
So is it like the Egyptians that created chewing gum?
Probably. Look what else they did, you know?
I don't believe that's accurate, but that's what they think. 9,000 years is the oldest piece of chewing gum.
That's
So,
What's your
wild.
favorite chewing gum?
my favorite?
Yeah.
Well, at the moment, doing a lot of sugar-free
Yeah.
type gum.
Yeah.
So it's pure.
Trident? No, that's toothpaste.
No, this is pure. You
No,
can get it.
try
At,
that something.
Is it gum?
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry.
you can get it at Whole Foods, but it's
Mm.
cinnamon. I chew a lot of cinnamon,
Ooh,
pure.
I don't
so
like cinnamon.
that-
At least not in gum or candy.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
Big
dear.
Red. Ooh.
What about Red Hots when you were a
No,
kid? No.
no, not
Okay.
even now.
Yeah.
When I was a
Huh?
kid, it was Big League Chew.
There you
Yeah.
go.
If I
30
had
seconds of
to.
full flavor.
Had to.
Yeah.
This conversation grosses me out. I have a very interesting relationship with gum. It's like I will use it, and
Mhm.
I'm going to say use it on purpose, not to gross myself out further. But I don't love it. I do not love it.
Yeah, I'm not.
And you know, my kiddo is at that age where she's into it, and it's just gross, man.
Smacking.
Yeah, just
Yeah, that's my biggest pet peeve.
You
I
know,
think.
the whole thing, the whole everything that comes with it.
Well, anyways, did you have another
I
one
get
for
that.
us? Yeah.
Oh yeah. Speaking of music, what does the term piano mean?
Box with
Can I
teeth.
have an origin?
It's Italian.
Italian. Okay.
Oh.
That doesn't help any.
I thought it might.
Just go for a spelling bee thing there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought some light bulb was about to go
Yeah, I
off or
did
something.
too.
Like,
I
oh,
was
that's
gonna
going to
be
mean
so
something.
impressed.
Just use it
Yeah.
in a sentence, please.
He's so smart. Yeah.
I have no idea what I mean.
If someone were to say play piano style, it means to be played softly or quietly.
Oh.
That was old Italian meaning. So
Beethoven didn't really stick to that. did he?
No. No. Roll over.
now there was another definition I looked up. It said loud and soft. So that makes no sense. But
I'm working on a training that we're giving tomorrow, and I use the words crescendo and decrescendo in
Oh,
that
wow.
training. I'm just working on that before I came down here. So
well, there you
there
go.
we go.
All right.
Maybe I should switch it.
So how do you tell the age of a horse?
I went to the scene and
Oh man,
I know you guys love my randomness with all these.
this
What
is
is,
yeah.
Tommy Boy was the scene I was thinking of when you said
The
that.
age of the horse. I'm gonna guess it has something to do with the eyes.
I'm gonna say teeth.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a
Look
better
at him
thought.
go.
Yeah, that's a better.
It's the
thought.
teeth.
Is
It's
it?
the teeth.
Yes, I'm the best.
Horse teeth are pretty funny because they look close enough to human teeth, but they're always
what was
like
that
jacked
show,
up.
Mr. Ed?
Yeah,
They
man.
put peanut butter in his mouth
Mr.
to make
Ed.
him look like he was
Yeah.
talking.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yep, Mr. Ed.
That's all I got for you today.
All right, well, those are pretty tough.
Yeah.
Pretty hard. I'm ready for some like
It's a horse,
pop
of course.
trivia. Yeah, pop trivia, pop, yeah, something pop culture. I don't
As
know.
long as it's not any more riddles.
Well, riddles.
I'll bring something back for you.
Yeah.
So
yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Well, that wraps up the news for this week. Thanks for following along with the Arkansas AgCast. We're grateful for you taking the time to watch and listen.
Remember, you can catch new episodes of the show every Thursday afternoon. Find video episodes on Facebook and YouTube. Listen to the audio version on iTunes or Spotify. And make sure to subscribe and leave us a review when you have a few extra minutes.
That's right. The Arkansas AgCast is brought to you by the Arkansas Farm Bureau. I'm Jason Brown.
And I'm John McMinn.
And we'll see you next week.